We are now just 8 days until election night in America, and the race is the closest in recent history. Our Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook joins us now from the White House. And Julia, we sure saw some sharp talk over the weekend.
Big headlines coming out of the campaign events this weekend. Vice President Kamala Harris has been joined by some heavyweights in the Democratic Party, including former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. They've been speaking on her behalf in these final days. And Harris is really focusing in on those top issues where in polls, voters say that they side with her. So that's abortion rights and preserving democracy. And her marquee event is going to happen here in Washington tomorrow evening at the Ellipse, which is just on the other side of the White House here. And there's a lot of significance in where she is making those remarks. It's the exact area where former President Donald Trump spoke on January 6, 2021. And then a group of his supporters went to the U.S. Capitol where a violent riot took place. Harris is hoping to tell voters that Trump is unfit for another 4 years in office. Over the weekend, Trump spoke to a massive crowd in Madison Square Garden in New York City. And during that, he's highlighting the issues where he thinks he has the upper hand. So that's the economy and immigration. Trump's remarks during that event were overshadowed by some of the allies that spoke before him, including comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who said, quote, that Puerto Rico was, quote, a floating island of garbage. The Trump team did release a statement saying that the joke does not reflect the views of the former president or their campaign. But these comments come at a time where both Trump and Harris are vying for the Puerto Rican vote, particularly in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania, where roughly 500,000 Puerto Ricans live. Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny, who has about 45 million followers on Instagram, signaled his support for Harris following those remarks at that Trump event.
Now, U.S. President Joe Biden, he cast his ballot in Delaware today. How involved has he been in this campaign since he dropped out of the race himself?
He did. He stood in line in Delaware with all the other people waiting to go in and have their voices heard. And one could assume that this is a bittersweet moment because just a few months ago, he expected his name to be on that ballot. But when a reporter asked him, he said it's just a sweet moment. And he reaffirmed that he believes that Harris is going to walk away with a victory here. There has been a delicate balance for her, though, in these final months as she looks to celebrate the wins of the current administration, but also distance herself from Biden. Right now, polling shows that a wide majority of Americans think that the country is headed in the wrong direction right now. So there are some issues where she has to distance herself, particularly on the economy, one that comes up often and one that Trump is trying to capitalize on.
All right, Julia, 8 more days. Thank you. And that is Julia Benbrook in Washington.